Hey guys, welcome back to Get Into It with Jason Hook, with me, your host, Jason Hook. What's up, Richie? I'm back. I've been away for a week or I think a little bit, almost 2 weeks now. No, I didn't go on vacation, I've just been busy. We had some shitty weather, work, all sorts of crazy shit. But it's still light out, so you don't get the nasty glare yet. But, so I'm going to start off what we're listening to. This is a Wilhelm Scream, Career Suicide. The version, I didn't know this was out. I just got this the other day. This record came out in 2007. This is a 10-year anniversary edition. If you see, it says 10 years later. If you look, that's the actual cover of the record. But these guys are from New Bedford. It's cool gatefold here. And it's out on Panic State Records, which I believe is out of New Jersey. I could be wrong. These guys have been around forever. They used to be called Smack and Isaiah way back in the day. Then they became a Wilhelm Scream. Really good pop punk, and by pop punk, you guys know, it's not super syrupy. There's some riffs, there's some harmonies with vocals. It's just really awesome shit. This band fucking rules. I always have a soft spot for a lot of the, before I was into like the heavier side of hardcore and punk, I'm wearing a NoFX shirt. Come on, you know what my roots are. But this is a great band, been around forever. There's weird pressings. I didn't know this existed until last week. So this is on black. I believe there's 100 on black vinyl, 40 or 50 that are on a green and white that they call Celtics, and about 400 that are on a red and blue, which is called Red Sox. But again, it's a 10-year anniversary version. It's a double LP. So comes in on these picture sleeves. It's got the lyrics. This is the record, and then the second LP, which I haven't listened to yet, I believe is just demos and outtakes or different versions of the songs that ended up on the record. I haven't listened yet, like I said, but it's black vinyl. The labels are real cool. I like what they did on this. They're colored labels, so just photos. It's a real nice. They didn't skimp on this, but I've always loved this record. I know a bunch of my friends do. I know some people watching this might not dig it, but check them out. A Wilhelm Scream. This is Career Suicide. Just a different cover. So we're going to get into some stuff, the rest of my Mars Records purchases. So the first thing I want to talk about here is this band called Sacred Denial. These guys are out of New Jersey. Name of the record's Extra Strength Tylenol Anyone. I believe it might be linked to the story about the poison Tylenol. If you guys remember, we can look it up. Someone actually was opening Tylenol, poisoning it, and re-putting the lids on, and people were taking it and dying. I believe it was in Washington State. So I think this might have been around the time. Yes, it's for sale, discount. So I believe it's a reference to that. So on the back here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is a 13-song LP with songs recorded in 83 and 82. They put the markings next to it, and there's a little key there. Like I said, these guys are out of Jersey. They have a little bit more melodic sound, or an attempt at a melodic sound. Just black vinyl. They're playing fast, but there is some melody to it. A lot of times it almost sounds like everything's just going to fall completely apart, which is a bummer. But it comes back around, like teeters right on the tip of just falling apart. Just completely falling, like almost playing. Everyone's playing a different song almost. But again, that's Sacred Denial, New Jersey punk. This is an original press. It's on. I don't even know what label it's on. Might be self-release, but check it out. Again, from Mars Records. So speaking of Sacred Denial, I also was able to grab one of these from him because they're on this. This is a comp, if I can get my hand on it. This is a comp called Big City, One Big Crowd. So I wrote down when this came out. This came out in 1985. There's 20 songs on here. 20 bands, 25 songs. New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut on here. So some of the bands you get: Unjust, Armed Citizens, Ultraviolence, Creed Cops, Psychos, Javi and the Bastards, and you get Sheer Terror, Bloodlust, Shock, Bodies in Panic, Sacred Denial, Please Youth, 76% uncertain. Vatican Commandos, which was the band Moby was in before it became Moby, but he wasn't in the band on the recording on this. The Almighty Seizure, Chronic Disorder and Violent Children, and Space in here. Long day. This came with a booklet. I don't have one. This doesn't have one, so Tim was nice enough to give me a deal on it. But Adrenaline OD's on here too. I'm sorry, guys. So actually, this is how it's set up. One side 2 is New Jersey, Connecticut, as it says down here, and side A is just New York. So it's a pretty good snapshot of 1987. Is it 87? 85. Violent Children, Ray Capo of Youth of Today played drums on. I believe they broke up way before 85, or maybe around 85. Someone should be able to tell me the timeline behind that and tell me I'm being a dingbat. But this came out on Big City Records. I looked them up. I believe they put out a bunch of comps. They're kind of a comp label. And you guys know how much I love comps. They were very big in the 80s. You know, it's the only way you could hear a lot of these bands was comps. But that's Big City, One Big Crowd. Just got all the bands drawn on the back. And then on the front here, it's just got like some drawings. I went some shirts here. Shirts of the bands on the comp. This guy's wearing a Gnostic front shirt with a Reagan Youth tattoo, man. But yeah, all the bands are like on the shirts in the front that he's hanging out. It's a cool little comp. Check it out. It's Friday. Next thing I grabbed from Tim is this Fear record, Fear More Beer. This is their second LP. This came out after the record, which was their first LP. If you guys know Fear, if you guys ever watched Decline of Western Civilization, the whole point of the band was to piss people off and try to get them to fight them. The singer Lee Ving sang with kind of a bluesy voice. It wasn't really a yell. It yells a little bit, but it's still under control. These guys, the thing that made these guys different than a lot of the bands of the time was that they could actually play. These guys could play. Like, just they were talented musicians. This came out in 85 or 86. It says 85 here. It might have been 85. They were out of LA. There's like 15 different pressings on of this thing. I wrote it down. The record came out in 82. The Fear the record, the LP before this. There's some great songs on here, but it's classic Fear, just pushing buttons here. The mouth don't stop. The trouble with women is, you know, just starting shit. That's just what they did. But there's some great shit. It's actually really hard to find. You never see these around. Like, I don't feel it's as good as the first one, but it's a good one. But you just don't see these around. It could just be kind of the content on it. There is some kind of non-PC stuff on here, but there's like some great stuff on here too. So that's Fear More Beer. There's no insert. I believe it's supposed to have one, but it came out on Restless, which was a division of Enigma. Hey, send $1 for a mail order catalog, so maybe I'll send one out. But that's Fear. So I have a couple 45s. Let me move these out of the way. I have a couple of 45s I'm going to show. That some of them I got from Tim. But I hit up a new record store called Purchase Street, which is in New Bedford. So I have some LPs from there. I'm going to show them LPs, and I'll show the 45s. And I have a tape, and then I have some big news about something that I'm doing. So the first one I'm going to show you, since we're in a pop-punk kind of mood, is here's the Face to Face. Don't Turn Away. I forgot the name. Sorry, guys. These guys are a California pop-punk band. Really dig this record. This record's got some... Disconnected is probably one of the most well-known songs they ever did. It was on a lot of comps. This originally came out on Dr. Strange Records in 1992, but then was repressed on Fat in 94 or 95, around there. I'm not sure the exact press. I believe there's multiple pressings of this record. So I was able to grab this from them. So you got a lyric sheet on this side. Just on that side, wearing a Black Flag shirt. Sound nothing like Black Flag, though. Who they think here? Well, I think Tony Adolescent. Voodoo Glow Skulls. Whoa, whoa. Guttermouth. D.I. But yeah, it's definitely a pop punk band. If you guys dig what you're hearing here, and if you're into like, you know, that Bad Religion types, the early 90s Bad Religion sound, you'll definitely dig these guys if you never heard them. It's just black vinyl with a white label. I found this in the stack. I was stoked to get it because I've seen so many different pressings of it. I believe it might have just been recently repressed again by Fat Records, but this is definitely a 95 version. It's a little bit beat up, and it's got the address. But it's got a $4.50 price tag. I paid a little bit more than that. 15. I think 10 actually. I think he discounted me. But that's Face to Face. Don't Turn Away. I keep on spacing on the name. Also, as you guys know, if you watch my videos, everything's going to be linked down below. So let's show that one in a minute. Next we have this Clash bootleg. This is from the very first show of the White Riot Tour in 1977. There's no insert, black vinyl with a red label. So it's just got a blue cover here. I think this came out in 2011. I'm not sure. It's a show's from 1977. I've never seen one of these before, or maybe one that had this cover on it. It's definitely a boot. But it's still on Discogs. I found it on Discogs, so buy them now before they pull them. One of the things about this is it says play loud here, and it says play loud here. You definitely have to play it loud because the recording's low. It's not bad. It's a live recording from the 70s, so it's not the most crystal clear thing, but it's low in the mix. So you definitely have to turn it up louder than your average record to be able to hear it. You can hear the crowd. They played the 1977 twice. It's a good record. It's early. It's, you know, if you like the Clash, you'll like this. But I saw this and had to grab it. Next, I have. I was able to get. He had 2 copies of the Seal, and my buddy Jay got the other one. What we got here is the biggest travesty known to man, which is Discharge's Grave New World. Still sealed, so this will never be unsealed because I don't want to unleash it on the world because it's a piece of shit. It came out in 1986. Look at Discharge, man. Look what happened. If you guys don't know Discharge, you're pretty much the creator of the D-beat sound, just aggressive hardcore, and then this came out, and this is pre-internet, so a lot of it was people didn't hear it until they heard this, and they're definitely trying to be a hair metal band, radio band. You can look up stories about this record's notorious. I have friends who claim to like it. I think they're full of shit. This one is on the Profile Rock Hotel. I believe it was on another label too. It actually just got repressed. I don't know why. Just for nostalgia. I mean, I paid $18 for this. $3.99 right here. Quincy Records and Tapes, it looks like. Clearance $3.99. So they still made money. I mean, who's the sucker? I bought it. But if you guys know Discharge, I know that some people might see this. Please comment below. Let's talk about this record. There's a zine called Our Future out of the UK, which I have a copy of. It's not in here. But they actually wrote a whole zine about this record because they tried to do a US tour and it went horribly wrong. I believe they were booed off the stage. They pretty much fell apart on that tour. This is a guitar player. I believe it's him. This is his first record with Discharge, and he claims that he was in the studio just recording parts, and he didn't know what the record was going to sound like until he heard it. And there's just all sorts of crazy stories about this. But this is still sealed, like I said, forever. This is actually going to be... some people might want me to take this and do like what they did in Indiana Jones, you know, like top men, and have it put in a crate and put in a warehouse with 1,000 crates in it that no one will ever see again. But again, this is Discharge, Grave New World. If you've ever heard this, let's talk about it. Let's chat about it. Let's talk shit about it. It looks like shit. It's sealed. It's got a gray cover of a dragon. I don't know if you guys can really make it out because of all the glare. But Discharge, Grave New World. Definitely a discussion piece. Hair metal Discharge. So that also came, the last 3 I showed you, the Face-to-Face Clash, Discharge, and this Wilhelm Scream record all came from Purchase Street. So I'll throw a link down below. They're out of New Bedford. Oh, that was gross, guys. So next, I went to another record store that I'd never been to before that's located over in Norwell. called Inclusion. It's in the basement of a skate shop called Technical. I actually bought a 45 from them too, so we'll talk about that. But I was able to grab this very partied on copy of Black Sabbath, We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. This thing's a little beat up. The sleeve's a little beat up. The vinyl's got some scratch. Like it's not horrible. I've seen worse. It just needs a really good cleaning, which I didn't really do. There's some surface noise on here. But what else would you expect from We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll, guys? It's gatefold, double LP. For those uninitiated or don't know, this record came out in 1975. It is pretty much a Black Sabbath greatest hits up to that point. There's all different versions of this record. But the story behind it is that they had a previous manager who authorized this and didn't tell the band, and they didn't find out until people showed up to have them autograph it at like signings or at shows they played and stuff. So they had no idea this existed. But you pretty much get everything you need on here. Black Sabbath, The Wizard, Warning, Paranoid, War Pigs, Iron Man, Wicked World, Tomorrow's Dream, Fairies Wear Boots, Changes, Sweet Leaf, Children of the Grave, which is one of my favorite Sabbath songs, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, Am I Going Insane radio version, Laguna Sunrise, Snowblind, and NIB. And this is the version where they didn't cut, I believe it might have been Laguna Sunrise, and the intro to NIB is cut. It's not on this version. So this is like a legit version of it. But as you can see, I paid $7 for it. I'll post a link for the store for you guys in the area. Check it out. Check them out. I mean, if you don't buy records and buy skateboard shit, it's a skateboard shop that's been there 17 years. You can't fault them. But I was talking about this with my buddy, just this version in general that I have, because you can see the ring wear, and the corners are pretty beat, and it's kind of like, how many fucking sick parties do you think this thing was pulled out at? Like when shit started going on, like you know, kind of late at night, parties dying out, all of a sudden, you know, the opening, the Black Sabbath place, dude. How many joints do you think were rolled on this gatefold? But anyways, that's Black Sabbath. We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. And now, while we're at it, I'll say I picked up this Snuff 7-inch there as well, the Snuff 45. If you guys don't know Snuff, they're an English band that fall into they fall into the punk category. This is from 1991. They actually broke up in 91, I believe, but then ended up getting back together. They're from London, England. They're weird piano, the very distinct vocal delivery, kind of like jazzy parts of songs. I've never seen this. I thought it was cool. It was $5. Same name on it. What? Sorry, guys. No, it just has an inclusion tag. But, you know, 1991 7-inch Snuff. Check them out. Definitely, they have a piano kind of jazz sound with distinct vocals going on. I'll pick that up there. I'm going to flip the record, and I'm not going to shut the video off. Pull up my pants. Just going to play the record in a minute. You know, this is your break time. We're almost over. All right, side B, here it comes. Sorry, guys. So, also, this No Effects long sleeve, they had like a Black Friday sale. I got this thing for $12. There's No Effects down both sleeves. It's pretty cool. It's my first time actually wearing it because, you know, 2018 is the year of the long sleeve, if you guys have been watching. Next, we go to Mars. Another 45. This is from Mars. This is the Mission of Burma Trem 2 OK No Way 45 single. If you guys don't know Mission of Burma, they're a Boston band from the 80s that they're kind of like post-punk, they kind of had an art rock sound to them. They had that song, That's When I Reach Around My Revolver, that someone I talked about earlier in the video, Moby, did a cover of. That was actually them. They played a lot with punk and hardcore bands. They got kind of sunk into that. I wrote down what year this came out, so give me one. This was 1982. I believe this came out either right before or right after Signals, Calls, and Marches, which was their first LP, or one of their most well-known LPs came out, or my favorite LP. But I saw this, had to pick it up. It's just a 2-song 45 from 82. Great stuff if you guys know, like, forefathers of the post-punk sound. And going back to a band we talked about earlier, I got this copy of Clash City Rockers. Pretty nice. on CBS. Another Tim buy. Something I've always meant to buy. This thing's got a little bit of thrash in this on the cover. Vinyl played clean. It's a Clash. So, I mean, what do you guys expect to hear on here? Clash City Rockers, you should know it. But, I think I'm going to start buying Clash singles now when I see them, if I get them for cheap. Because I just hate money. But, but yeah, so Clash City Rockers with the B-side is Jail Guitar Doors. Great stuff. So next, I have a cassette. My father-in-law actually grabbed me this. He's a drummer, and I guess he was buying some drum parts or something of that nature, and he saw that the guy had this. So it's the Buzzcocks live in Boston in 1989. I see the glare. And it's from Mystery Train because they ripped the sticker off, but I remember that store. But it's weird, they don't play Orgasm Addicts. But for a live tape, it's definitely from a soundboard. Very minimal crowd noise. There is a little bit, it is a little muffled, but I figure it's just because it's the tape's almost 20 years old. But somebody, I did a little bit of research, and what it was, I don't know who, I bet you I don't know them by name, but I've probably met them and not known. Somebody was making a ton of these at one point, where it was all like live shows from places like City with the same color paper and sold at Mystery Train Records. So if you go over on this side, it's just you got the lyrics there. I mean, not the lyrics, the song titles. It's a great tape. They definitely have some sound problems. That's not the tape or the recording. The mic cuts out a couple times. He apologizes to the crowd a million times for it. But it's great stuff. I didn't know what City was until I asked on the internet. I guess it used to be Avalon. It's not House of Blues. But thanks, Paul. I'm going to make a dub of it because I don't know how old the tape is. Maybe make some copies. Anyone interested, let me know. Drop me a line. But that's the Buzzcocks. Live in City, 1989. 11/9/89. So I was 7. So, wow, that's everything. That was pretty fast. So I have some other things I want to talk about. So this is going to be about records. I wanted to drop a thank you to Vinyl Ritchie, who just mentioned me by name in one of the last videos he did. Won a vinyl tag about a record, a Smart Dad's record. So, what's up? Thanks, Vinyl Ritchie. I'm sure you guys already know who he is. If you don't, I'll link him. Check him out. I also want to thank you to Cold Dark Hymns, I believe, from the north. I always fuck up your name, dude. But he actually did a pretty good shout. I'll post him below. He did a pretty fucking intense shout out where he talked about my show and how he digs it and told people to check me out. Thanks, dude. I fucking appreciate it so much. I think it's really cool. I'm trying to get some eyes on videos. So, thanks, bud. And I'll work something out. I'll just send you some weird shit. And the last thing I want to talk about is a huge announcement, guys. And this is going to be very big if you live in the Massachusetts area. But my friends and I are throwing a flea market in April, and at a VFW hall that's not far from my house. I've sold out every table at this, guys. So some of the labels, I got Mars Records is going to be here. I got Patak, which you guys have heard me talk about on the show. I have Git Punk, which you guys have heard me talk about on the show. I have Cooch coming down, who does Painkiller and Radio Ream. You guys have heard me talking about on the show. I have my friend Jay is just selling records. I have my friend Tim just selling records, not Tim Mars, Tim M from New Hampshire. I have other people I know just selling records. I have Acme Band Supply, who's just going to bring a one-head press and print shirts. I have 2 or 3 other clothing companies that are design companies that have t-shirts and whatnot. Maybe some other stuff, you never know. Brewing equipment, comic books, CDs. It's just basically an underground flea market that's going to be in the most beloved golden area of Massachusetts, known as the South Shore. So let me show the flyer again. I'm going to plug the shit out of this. I understand if you guys want to shut this off, because it's all I'm going to talk about probably till the next 2 months, because I'm fucking freaking out about it. I'm super nervous. But, so this flyer's been hanging around all these weird places. If you live in the Boston area, you're going to end up seeing it. But that's me. Sean John Experience Podcast. You guys should check out. I'll throw a link up. 66 FM or 999. I'll throw a link up to that for Pat. They're the ones helping me run it. So definitely come check it out. Bip Bop Boom. I know you live in Massachusetts. You have plenty of time. If you watch my videos, I'll send you a message. Come and check this out. I think you'll dig it. All you Boston vinyl heads, there's legit shit at this. This isn't people selling junk. There's multiple record labels, record stores selling some heat at this, guys. So that's the Common Ground Flea Market, Cash Bar, 50/50 and off the door. Come and check it out. And do I have anything else I want to talk about? What's coming up? Nothing really. So I have plenty. I have more stuff I got from Purchase Street, which will be in my next video. I went to a record show and I grabbed some stuff there, so you guys will see that. I quit smoking, so you might notice that my voice is angelic and childlike again, maybe, and not like this, or it might still be like this. I don't know. And I haven't eaten meat in like 7 weeks because I'm out of my mind. But have a good weekend, guys. I'll see you guys sooner than later. Expect a video soon. Sorry it took so long in between videos. I was just life, guys. But and they have a lyric. Again, I'm not even drunk, but I'm just kind of going 1,000 miles here. They have one of the greatest lyrics ever on this on one of the songs on here. I took a piss in every ocean, so fuck the world. I love this band. Wilhelm Scream. Career suicide. See you guys later.